Hi, I'm Diana, and today we are saying goodbye. We are saying goodbye to so much because I was inspired by this Old Navy sweatshirt that I bought for a French girl style video as a joke, and then I forgot to wear it. It's kind of a weird sweatshirt. I'm saying goodbye. I'd rather it say hello. Why was I saying goodbye? And what was I saying goodbye to if I was going to wear this sweatshirt? There are a lot of things that I would like to say goodbye to right now. And not waiting for the new year, I want to say goodbye to them right now. And I figured if I wanted to do this, maybe you wanted to do this. The number one thing I want to say goodbye to starting right now. I want to say goodbye to automatically reacting to whatever happens. I feel like sometimes I'm just on this treadmill and things are being thrown at me and I have to fling them away. But instead of flinging everything away as I'm running at full speed, maybe what I should do is take time with each thing that's being thrown at me and say, is this important or not? And whether those are somebody's words or a task that's being given to me, I should take a second to realize whether it's actually important or not. Is it big picture or not? And how big of a picture are you looking at here? Because you could look at the big picture of a year, or you could look at the big picture as your life, or the big picture of, does this matter within the scope of humanity? You really could just take a step back with everything and see if it matters or not. Does it matter that that lady stole your parking space? Not really. So don't create that stress in your life of reacting to it. The second thing I'm saying bon voyage to, voyage. The second thing I'm saying bon voyage to. I'm saying bon voyage to this kitten attacking my foot. That's very distracting. We're saying goodbye to thinking it's too late to do something. There are very few things on this earth that it's too late to do. It's just this mental block that we have against going for something that seems like we should have done it a while ago. And you actually could think about this in terms of getting overwhelmed by your messy house and you don't know where to start, so you don't start. And maybe that happened to your life where you had so many things that you should do that they're all piled up and now you don't know where to start, so you don't start. But how do you eat an elephant? One bite at a time. So if you do have something that's been sitting there nagging at you, I should have started that business. I should have taken that class. I should have gone after my dreams. I mean, if you want to get big and deep. I'm very inspired by, no, give me this. I'm very inspired by stories of older people who didn't hit their stride until 40, 50, 60, because there are more of these than you think. There are more of these stories than you actually hear about. And I mean, I've been doing different things my entire life. And even if you want to use me as an example, I didn't start this YouTube channel till I was 45. And there's so many people at 45 thinking, oh, I wish I would have had this technology when I was younger. I would have done this with it. You can totally do it now. Maybe no one will really watch for the first 2 years, but you should go for it. It's not too late. Say goodbye. Say bon voyage to it's too late. And just go for stuff because this life is short. We are saying goodbye to ego because ego is the thing that messes up most things in this world. Ego is what starts wars. Ego is what starts fights within families because you're not respecting me and I deserve respect. And sure, we all deserve respect. But sometimes we don't act in a way where it commands respect because we're all human. So to demand respect at all times in your life is really unreasonable. If you can think of a couple times in your life, oh, my bird clock is going off. I love it. Can you think of a couple times in your life where ego got in the way, whether it was yours or someone else's? It caused a problem because someone said, what did you say about me? Or that was meant for me and you took it. And honestly, does it matter what somebody said about you? I mean, try putting yourself on the internet and a lot of people will say things about you and you have to very quickly learn to put your ego aside and not be insulted because you'll spend your whole life being insulted if you put yourself on the internet. I'm sorry. You can still go for your YouTube channel at 45, but just know that you need to put your ego aside. What else are we saying goodbye to? We're saying goodbye to saying, oh, that's not for me, that's for other people. When you're talking about good things in life or things that you actually really do want, but you somehow believe that it's not meant for you or that you don't deserve it or that you would be kind of ashamed to admit that you actually do want that thing. So you just say, that's not for me. It's the sour grapes story where you just say, well, I didn't want those grapes anyhow because they were probably sour. But you know deep down they're not. And you know deep down you do want those grapes. So it's easier to say, that's not for me, because then you don't have to admit that you want something you don't have. You don't have to admit that you'd like to do something that people don't see you as. And just say, it's not for me. Well, you're robbing yourself of a very rich life experience of trying for that thing. So let's take a step back and we're putting the ego aside and we're going to say bon voyage to that's not for me, that's for other people. There's no more saying that. It can be for you. Even though this is number 5, this is pretty much the number one thing that I would love to say goodbye to right now, and that is defaulting to saying, I don't have time for that. Having time for something is really just a matter of priorities. I have overscheduled myself into the ground this year in order to devote time to speaking to you. And I don't want you to feel bad about that because I don't feel bad about that. But then I've said, I don't have time to either hang out with my friends or take a trip or just sit silently in nature. I am guilty of this, and I want to say goodbye to saying I don't have time. And you might say, Diana, I have 3 jobs. I literally don't have time. And that's pretty much me too. Let me tell you a little story about people who say they don't have space in their house for a piano, yet they want to learn how to play the piano, and they've always wanted to play the piano, but they say, I don't have space for a piano. Yet, I have seen the people who want a piano in their house squeeze them into the tiniest apartments, and somehow there's magically room for that piano. Why am I talking about pianos? I don't think I ever mentioned on this channel that I've been a piano teacher for over half of my life. So yes, I know this is a fact, and yes, I'm speaking from experience. You can fit a piano in your house if you really care to, just like you can fit time in your life if you really care to. And I really care to. So I'm saying goodbye, bon voyage, to not having time. So we're going to be continuing this series. Stay tuned for part 2 of things we need to say bon voyage to. Hey, hey, hey. We need to say bon voyage to these crazy kittens who almost knocked over my camera. Bon voyage. See you next time.